Good afternoon, good evening, everybody. It's David Schlotthauer here in the home weather office with another detailed update on Tropical Storm Philippe as this heads north and impacts Bermuda with tropical storm warnings for that island. And then we got something brewing possibly in the Gulf of Mexico or the Caribbean, and we could see tropical development with this system within the next couple of weeks. We'll break all those details in today's update. So taking a look at the latest GOES 16 mesosector satellite imagery on Tropical Storm Philippe at this time, and we can clearly see that there is no deep convection forming over the center at all. In fact, this is a naked old swirl that we are seeing right now. In fact, when we take a close-in zoomed-in view on Philippe's structure, we can see a lot of deep convection is occurring well east of the low-level circulation that is currently being exposed to the west, and therefore this system remains fairly disorganized due to the strong deep layer shear that is currently impacting Philippe. When we take a look at the latest intensity and track forecast from the National Hurricane Center as of the 2 o'clock advisory, this is not going to change a whole lot from update to update. Winds now are at 50 miles an hour, moving to the north at 13 miles an hour, and yes, that blue dot that you see on your screen indicates we have tropical storm warnings out for Bermuda because they're expecting to see tropical storm conditions by Friday morning with high surf. We got some storm surge to look forward to, unfortunately. We got some heavy rainfall and, of course, the big-time winds that this system will generate, even so it's a tropical storm. By Saturday and Sunday, this could impact the extreme northeast of New England, such as Maine and Nova Scotia, by Saturday night into Sunday morning. Looking at the most likely arrival time of tropical storm force winds, there is a greater than 50 to 60% chance that Bermuda, yes, that's you, that could have tropical storm force winds by Friday morning into Friday night. And then eventually there's a 20 to 30% chance that portions of Maine and Nova Scotia by Saturday night could have tropical storm force winds. But yet, when we take a look at those yummy, tasty spaghetti models here on the 12Z output from the GEFS, we can clearly get an idea that there could be a tropical storm, extratropical cyclone, or if not, a subtropical storm at the very most when this makes landfall over eastern Maine, near the Bay of Fundy, as well as Nova Scotia. This could make a hard left turn, and when it does, we could see some big-time impacts with heavy rainfall, strong winds, and surf along the Maine coast as well as portions there Cape Cod. Our hurricane models are pretty similar. Those spaghetti models not looking too tasty when they're aiming a little further south into central Maine by the next 3 to 4 days. And again, the impacts could be a little significant depending on how much moisture this actually has with it. But you know what's truly bad about this forecast is that there could be more strengthening to come with Philippe. It is pretty unfortunate to see this because there has been a lot of joggling around with the intensity, the future fate of Philippe, but we pretty much know for a fact that this is going to strengthen a little bit more into a mid-grade tropical storm in the next 1.5 to 3 days. And yes, folks, landfall is right around in here somewhere, and we could be looking at a 50 to 60 knot system. I don't know what your problem is, Mr. Philippe. You just want to go wherever you want to go. You want to play tricks on people? Be that way. Looking at our 12Z GFS model, you can clearly see where Philippe is. We don't know where it is on the GFS for all I care. We already know it's broad in nature. We know where the surface low actually is. Maybe Philippe is right here rotating around whatever mass or mess this actually is. But either way, Bermuda, you better be looking out for Mr. Philippe because he's coming and he's gonna be strong. Wait, what? Where is Philippe? The GFS model, whatever, where is it? Is it east? Is it west of Bermuda? We don't know. All we do know is it's going to be impacting Bermuda in some certain way. If that's heavy rain, if that's strong winds, you all need to be definitely on the lookout for this system because there are two centers that could parallel each other between Bermuda, which means that puts Bermuda in the crosshairs for whatever impacts you might be dealing with. By Saturday afternoon, October the 7th, Philippe has two angry looking eyes looking right at you all. If you're in Maine, if you are in Nova Scotia, this system is looking truly evil and possessed. By Saturday night, it makes landfall over Maine with heavy rainfall and some strong damaging winds and high surf, which could really impact your Sunday or Saturday night. If you're out late, just be aware you might want to stay tuned for my updates. Now, taking a look at that latest Euro model for this morning and afternoon, and you can clearly see where Philippe actually is. Going to make landfall by Friday early afternoon on October the 6th with heavy rainfall, strong winds, and then eventually this is going to crawl up the coast or move pretty swiftly actually and impact maybe perhaps portions there of Nova Scotia as well as Maine. This is a very tricky setup because we have a system that may undergo baroclinic deepening, and if that happens, we could see a big system really slamming into Maine as well as the Northeast. You all have had too much freaking rain that you all need a break. By Sunday morning, it makes landfall with a pretty powerful system with heavy rainfall and some damaging winds because pressures are down at 981 millibars. But also, you know what we need to watch out for is the Gulf of Mexico and the Caribbean, as some of the models and some of the climate models are indicating that we could have some tropical development in the next couple of weeks. In fact, any of these deep areas of convection could become our next system, as there is a lot of upward motion, a lot of moisture, and lesser shear. And that brings us to Friday the 13th. Did you just say Friday the 13th? Yes, I actually did say Friday the 13th. And by Friday the 13th, we could have something spinning up here over the western Gulf of Mexico as our next system. Something that we don't typically see along fronts this time of the year because there's a lot of dry air behind them. So going forward in time, we can see with what this system is eventually going to do once it gets into the southern portion of the Gulf into the Bay of Campeche. Oh, and look what the GFS shows in the next 10 to 11 days. Ooh, we got another one, and we have another one. So we have two areas now that we have got to watch for on October the 16th. We shall see, because this is Fantasyland for our GFS. Oh, what about the Euro model, you may ask? Well, let's take a look at our forecast here over the next 5 days or so. Nothing going on big, right? But that's going to change in a hurry once we go into Wednesday next week, October the 11th. We do have something that tries to spin up here, and we talked about how deep convection upward motion can lead to unexpected formation of systems. By Thursday, that brings quite a bit of rainfall and thunderstorm chances over the southeast, which desperately need the rain. But that's all that the Euro shows pretty much over this time frame. In fact, by October or Friday the 13th, that is, it's showing nothing other than that system there that is more kind of an extratropical cyclone, more of a subtropical look to it, so nothing big on the Euro. However, though, our yummy spaghetti models are still indicating we might get a tropical depression or tropical storm formation in the western Gulf of Mexico in the next 5 to 10 days. Again, depending on what model run you look at and what ensemble. This one in particular does show a few members that do want to develop this into a tropical depression or storm in the next 7 to 10 days, whereas the GFS indicates the same thing. You can see some of these members, some of these darker blues and greens do indicate a few members want to bring this into a tropical storm or a tropical depression within the next 7 to 10 days. Now, if you found this video very helpful, please consider subscribing if you're new, hitting the like button, and sharing this video with their family and friends on social media, and make sure you also hit the bell icon if you do end up subscribing. I also have a weather photography 4K YouTube channel that you all must check out. There will be a link in the description below this video. And be sure to check out my Sacramento Weather Center group. There will be a link in the description below this video leading to that Facebook page. And also, if you also want to join the Weather Force Discord server, there will also be a link in the description below this video. If you all want to join today, it is 100% free. There is no cost whatsoever. But otherwise, that is going to do it with today's video. I'll be back with you more tomorrow with another detailed update on the tropics.